Hi everyone, my name is Lisa. I'm owner and creator of Gypsy Woman Charm, and I thank you so much for joining me today. In today's video, we're going to be making home decor from items out of the Sonnets Maker's Box. It is a monthly subscription provided through Sonnets Garden Bloom, and some amazing items. There's papers that you can only get from the Maker's Box, from Upcycled and from Connie Himmer of Painted Photographer. So I will leave a link in the directions. If you like this video, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. It helps me keep giving you videos every week or more. So let's go ahead and see what we've got going. And in our July's Maker's Box, we have 2 papers from Upcycle, 2 papers from the Painted Photographer, 2 DIY paints, 2 fusion paints, a Sweet Pickins milk paint, and a napkin to decoupage. Project 1. So we're going to start out with the Painted Photographer rice paper in Lefty. And I just have this wood plaque that I found, and I'm going to take the fusion in the soapstone, and I am just giving it one good coat to color everything. So now I'm taking DIY Liquid Patina. I have very little left, so I'm going to try to use all that's left in the jar. And I'm covering it, the wood, and then I'm going to lay the rice paper on top of it. And then I'm going to put a coat of the Liquid Patina over the top, just to decoupage it really well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back after it dries completely, and I will sand off the edges of the paper so it is flush and even with the wood plaque. So here I am taking my finger sander, and I'm taking, I think I have 180 grit on it because I needed a little bit more heavy duty for that rice paper, because the rice paper has those fibers, and you have to use a little bit of extra strength to go through the fibers with the sandpaper. So, but I'm just sanding it flush so it looks like it was painted on there. And I love this paper because there's so much you can do with it. And you can see what we're going to be doing with it. We're going to be adding some color to it. We're going to do our own painting in it. And that's what makes it awesome, is you could pick the colors you want. Now, don't worry about sanding off the edges on this because we will be distressing it later. So it doesn't matter if you get some of the paint off the edges. So now I'm just taking a few different colors, whatever I had on hand, and I think one of them is the Conservatory, I think one is Winchester, one is the, I can't remember what the others are, I'm sorry, but just the different colors that I want. Oh, Limestone. I used the Limestone, and then I used the Winchester. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to add some water to it, because I want to make it where it's kind of where we can see if we paint over the lines on the paper, I still want to be able to see the lines through it. So I'm trying to make it sort of like, it's not watercolors, but that's the effect I'm going for. So now I'm just going to take a small brush and I'm just going to very carefully paint the different, like right now I'm painting the leaves, but as you can tell, I'm not putting tons of paint on my brush. I'm just putting a little bit of paint, and later you'll see too where I am adding water and I'm mixing colors, and you just do your own thing. This is your art piece, and you're using Connie's paper as a base, and because she gives us beautiful, beautiful pictures to work with, and we're just coloring it in like a coloring book. So now we're taking and we're going to distress the edges, and I'm just going through and I'm just getting some of the paint off that it exposes the raw wood underneath, just on the corners, anywhere would it would have some wear and tear on it. And then I'm going back with the brown antiquing wax that I use from Waverly, and I'll go over it with that to antique it, to do exactly what that wax is for. And as I'm getting the edges, you can see I'm getting the edges of the paper also, just to give it to carry it into the paper for the antique effect. So now I'm taking my Sweet Pickins top coat in matte, which I love this top coat. It's my go-to. And I'm just sealing everything in really well. I don't go over the edges because we've already covered it with wax, but that center part is not protected yet. So that's what I'm covering with the top coat. And I think it turned out amazing. I love it. Project 2. So next we're taking this silver or silver plated tray. There's no markings on it, so it's not good silver. So I am taking and I'm going to paint it. I am taking the DIY vintage linen that was supplied in the maker's box, and I'm just giving it a good coat all over the front of it. So now that it's all dry, we're going to take the Painted Photographer's paper in Bath Night, which is adorable. And I am taking a wet wipe right now, and I am pulling off some of the DIY paint. DIY paint, it's a clay-based paint, and it does reactivate it when you touch it with water or moisture. So you can distress things just with a wet wipe or a wet cloth, which makes it so much easier and no mess. So now I take the Bath Night paper and I put it in the center and make marks where I want to cut it. Now it is not long enough for the tray, so we're going to be using a paint effect on the outside of the paper to fill in that inner part of the tray. So right now I'm just taking a water on a paintbrush, and I'm going around the section, and after I wet it, I just rip the paper where the wet part is. And because it's wet, it comes right off. Even though it's the rice paper, it still works great. And you can see I'm doing it all on all the edges of the paper just to make it look uniform. So now I'm starting out with the rest of this liquid patina, and I run out after the first little section. So then I go to my fusion decoupage and transfer gel and finish the project off with that. I've never had a problem with interchanging the mediums. As far as those two mediums, those are really the only two mediums I use. I will in my later project use something else. That's because I'm wanting a different effect. But I have no problem. My favorite would probably have to be the Fusion Decoupage Gel is really my favorite. And that's just my personal opinion. So now I'm taking the little tray that I had all the paints on where I painted the birds, and I'm just going to kind of fill in the tray. Now my first thought was I was going to try to match the color of the papers. So I was going to do the really light pink with a blue hue around the top section, and then the bottom section I would bring out that blue. But then after I brought out the blue, I got to looking at it and I thought it would be so much prettier if I just did like an ocean color all the way around it, because we have a mermaid and a bubble bath, and I'm just picturing it in a bathroom, using it as a tray, or you could hang it on your wall, or I would prefer just to use it as a tray to sit things on in the bathroom. But I just think it would be I just thought it would be really pretty to do more of an ocean effect around it. So that's what I ended up doing. Now, there isn't really a certain process to do this. You just kind of take your colors and mix them as you go, and you may go over your colors several times before you're happy with the way it looks. But basically, you're just wanting it to look like there is no paper edge there. You want it to look more of that somebody painted it on there. And this is an effect that really works. Now everything is dried, and because it's a DIY paint, we need to seal it. So first I'm going to take the clear wax, DIY clear wax, and give it a good coat all over it, in the center, on the edges, everywhere on the tray. I'm wanting to give it a coat of the clear wax. Now just for an effect, I'm taking the DIY white wax and I'm going to put it in the center of the tray, just to soften the edges up a little bit where the paint meets the paper. Project 3. Now for our third item, I'm taking this old wood box that I got from Goodwill, and I took off the hardware from the front, and I am taking the Fusion limestone paint, and I'm putting just a base coat with the limestone paint. Now we are going to do this just like it's a vintage old box back from years ago. So to start off with, this is going to be the base coat all over, inside and out. Now after the fusion paint is dried, I'm going over it with the DIY black velvet paint. And this is going to be my paint that I'm going to distress. And hopefully it will show the fusion paint underneath it. Like I said, it's going to be a process. And I want it to look like a vintage box that somebody had years ago on their desk. Now I'm keeping the middle of the top of the box, the limestone, because that's what I want under my paper that I'm going to decoupage. So now I've decided on the inside, I'm taking this burlap and I am going to decoupage it on the inside. Now, earlier I said that I would use a different medium sometimes. Well, now I am using Mod Podge on this only because it's the effect that I want, and I need that Mod Podge for that effect. I want it to look like rattan or cane, woven cane. I want it to give that look when it's through. And the Mod Podge, you could use watered down glue. Elmer's glue probably would do the same, but I had this Mod Podge on hand, so that's what I'm using. So I'm taking it, I'm putting a coat under the burlap, and then I'm going over the top and giving it a really thick coat because you want it to get into all the little holes and everything. And this will take, I think I let it dry overnight before I went to the next process because you want it to dry really well. So I only show you doing one side, but I do the other side also. Now, after everything dries inside, I am taking the recycled paper and the floral ledger, which I think is just awesome. It even looks like it has like coffee stains on it, and I just love this paper. So I am going to put it on the top of this box, and I want to give it a natural line. I don't want it to be a straight line all over. I want it to look kind of worn. So I'm going to put it on here, and then I'm going to take a paintbrush with water, just like I did before, and go around the edges, and then I'm going to pull the edges off to give it a torn and distressed look. put a little bit of the liquid patina down, and then you'll see I'm going to spritz my paper, and you just want to spritz it. You don't want to get it too wet because it will rip and tear on you. So you see I just spritz a little bit, and it just stretches the fibers so it keeps you from having any crinkles or anything in it. And then I'm just decoupaging it down. Get through and it dries, because what it is, you're going to have, you know, some sections of the limestone fusion paint, and then you're going to have some of the black velvet on top. But that's what you want. You want that look, because you're going to go back over it with the brown antiquing wax, and it's going to look amazing. And now the burlap is completely dry, and look how great that turned out. I just love that look. So now we're going to take the Waverly brown antiquing wax, and I'm going to go over the whole box. You can see how it looks kind of blotchy, but that antiquing wax is going to give it an even antique look. Now I'm going to take the clear wax, DIY clear wax, and I'm going over the whole piece with the clear wax, just to give it extra protection and to smooth out that antiquing wax look. And I'm even going to do the bottom just to protect the bottom. Even though the bottom doesn't have the DIY paint on it, I still want to make sure it's protected real well. And I really like the ending effect on it. Thank you so much for staying till the end of the video. I appreciate it. Again, please subscribe if you like this content and give me a thumbs up. Anything that you need to do these projects, I will try to put in the description box so you can look in there and see all the items that I used. And I thank you so much. You have a blessed day.